Hi everyone, good evening and welcome back to another episode of the Top Cat Crypto Show. And in tonight's video we're diving into a few altcoins and we are kicking things off with KASPA. Now unfortunately KASPA looks like it's still in a downtrend, but what we're really seeing here right now is the 200-day simple moving average acting like a gravitational pull. As we tap that level around this area here, 9.2 to 9.4 cents, we're likely to get a bounce back to the next resistance level around 12.5 cents. Now that 12.5 cents zone is extremely important because around that area, futures contracts on various exchanges start to experience an imbalance between open interest and actual spot demand, especially with the launch of smart contracts by the end of August. And with that comes the launch of Zolo Swap, the KASPA-based DEX. And here's the thing, as the DEX is live, you won't be able to use perpetual futures to farm yield in the KASPA DeFi ecosystem. And that alone could force a rotation of capital out of futures into the actual KASPA asset. And now I may ask, will there be enough KASPA spot required for the DEX farms to be swapped for perpetuals? I think now you get the picture of what just might happen by the end of August for KASPA. Now I mentioned CRO a few days ago in a previous video and it's been doing exactly what we expected. So here on July the 11th it broke up above the 200-day simple moving average, which is always a major signal for bullish momentum. And then here on July the 27th we got the golden cross. So that's when the 50 days moving average is this blue line here, crosses above the 200 days simple moving average. And that's a classical indicator of a trend reversal to the upside. So this is really when CRO grabbed my attention. But it's not just the charts, there is more going on behind the scenes. For example, the Trump administration recently promised a 0% capital gains tax for cryptocurrencies that are American made, and that would include projects like CRO. And beyond that, Trump's team has already introduced things like the strategic Bitcoin reserve and the US digital asset stockpile. So this shows a clear shift toward embracing crypto on a national level. And guess what coin is included in this strategic reserve? Exactly, CRO. So technically and politically, CRO is looking strong. Now let's talk about price action. If CRO breaks through its major resistance levels at around 20 cents in this zone here and 60 cents in this zone here, and finally through its previous all-time high around 90 cents, then the next resistance level I'm watching is around $1.30. And if things really heat up this cycle, I'm setting a long-term take profit target at this level here. Guess what? $2.70. That's the roadmap I'm working with right now for crypto.com token. So yeah, keep your eyes on this token. It's showing real strength and could be... Oh, somebody calling me, sorry. Sorry. So as I was saying, this coin is probably a sleeper heading into the next leg of this bull market, a strong leg. Alright, let's talk about the next coin on the radar, which is none other than Chain. So, Chain had been stuck in a downtrend for months, but it looks that something changed. And what made me shift my outlook was this. First, it broke above the 50 days moving average, which is always a solid sign. And then, even more importantly, it broke through the 200-day simple moving average. And that's usually a major signal that a trend reversal is underway. And now if momentum continues, we're likely just a few days away from seeing a golden cross, which is the classic confirmation that a full trend reversal is in place. So it should be around this date here. But what really sealed it for me was this next move. So Pulse created a higher high right here, and this was a critical moment because yeah, there was hype around the rally, but I had doubts, and we needed to clear that key level around 4045, because without that we could have been facing a rejection of the 200 days moving average and dropped right back down. But Pulse broke through it, and that was the first major milestone. And then we passed the previous local high again around 4045. So that was the second critical milestone, and both have now been successfully cleared, which to me confirms Pulse is building a solid trend reversal. So we've now set a higher low, and we are forming a new higher high right now, or as we speak. So for the first time in a long time, we are in a legit uptrend. So what I'm watching next is the rising channel, and more specifically the upper boundary, which intersects with the Fibonacci level right around 4057 to 4006, and that is our next resistance zone. So now one of two things can happen there at this resistance level. So we might get a rejection and start a new bearish leg, or we might break right through it, which would be huge. And if that happens, then the next resistance levels are 4009 and eventually 30151. And beyond that, we are talking about pushing towards new all-time highs. Now let me zoom out and give you potential projection. If we follow the middle of this current channel, and if momentum holds, Pulse could reach this area, the 3 zeros and a 3, by December. That's already big, but there's more. If Ethereum breaks above 4,100, then Pulse Chain might act like Ethereum on leverage. We've seen it on the downside. When it crashed, Pulse crashed even harder. But the big question now is, will the same happen on the way up? And if the answer is yes, and Pulse mirrors ETH with amplified gains, then the trajectory of this tunnel might shift even more aggressively to the upside. And in that case, by year end, we could potentially be looking at 302 or even higher. So that's a 10x from the sacrifice price, completely within the realm of possibility. But again, it all hinges on how Pulse reacts when ETH enters full bull mode. So keep an eye on this channel, watch how we react at the 60 level, and let's see if Pulse Chain finally delivers the breakout everyone's been waiting for. Alright, the next coin we mentioned in our previous video came straight from one of our deep dives into the microcap space. And we were digging through low cap coins, looking for hidden gems, and we came across something that really caught my attention. This is a project with a tiny market cap, but surprisingly high daily trading volume. And that, you know, that combo is rare, especially for coins that are potential scams. And it's exactly the kind of setup we look for. So the coin is none other than Troll, also known as Troll Soul, Troll on Solana. Yeah, it has a funny name, but honestly, that branding might work in its favor. Troll Soul on Solana, Troll Soul. It's catchy, memeable, and totally fits the current market culture. And here's what really impressed me about this Troll Soul. So, Troll Soul just hit a new all-time high after going through more than, as you can see here, 3 months of bearish price action in June, July, and August. So that alone proves it's not a rug pull, and that's a big deal in this part of the market. And even more impressive is it's now listed on major exchanges like KuCoin, Maxi, and others, which is pretty rare for a macro cap meme coin. And why does it matter? because it has all the ingredients to be the next Pepe or the next Bonk. So we initially flagged it around 3.5 cents, and right now it's trading around 4.3 cents. After already hitting an all-time high here, this zone here, 4.8 cents. So we are watching to see if it continues forming higher highs, and if it does, this could turn into one of the surprising meme winners of this bull run. It has a major upside potential heading into December. The other microcap we flagged is not a meme, it's a DeFi project called Dolomite, and we first mentioned it when it was trading around 12 cents, and since then it's already made a new all-time high near 20 cents. Now it's pulling back slightly, but the structure still looks bullish, and I expect the uptrend to continue. So Dolomite is a new DeFi project, and it's one to keep your eye on for several reasons. It has solid tokenomics, promising technicals, and real potential. I definitely recommend checking out the project and exploring their website. You can also find it in many exchanges like Maxi, for example. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed these early calls and want to stay ahead of the market, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what other microcaps you're watching, and see you in the next video.